Hello, everyone. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center. It's time for Taroscopes. We're going to be doing the Taroscopes for the sign of Virgo, my Virgo painting, uh, for the month of April 2025. This includes Virgo Sun, Virgo Moon, Virgo Rising. We're going to look at the astrology of the month, the astrology specific to you, Virgo. And we're going to be doing a card reading tarot and pulling an oracle card. But before we get there, I want to welcome my new subscribers. Welcome to this wonderful community of like-minded souls. I think you'll have a lot of fun here, a lot of good information, and a lot of good folks. For those of you who have been with me for years, you know how much I appreciate you, my tried and true, who've been walking this winding road for years now. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your support over all these years. For my new members of my YouTube, welcome to the membership. Thank you so much for supporting me in that way. I will make an announcement at the end of the video about my membership and a quick thing. And for my Patreon folks, thank you so much. You've been with me for years as well. I really appreciate you supporting my work. All right, so let's get down. We'll look at the astrology first. And I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay. Now just give me a moment to find my place. Oops. Here we go, April. All right, so what are we looking at? Well, we're looking at all the major astrological things happening on either side here. This is the Tree of Life. This is the signs that are occupying the different Sephiroth on the Tree of Life. Each one of these is connected to a planet, save for the top one, which is connected to two planets, Neptune and Pluto. And you can see Neptune up here is in Aries. It just moved into Aries almost the last day of last month. So that's a whole new thing for everybody. And of course, Pluto in Aquarius moved into Aquarius pretty much, well, at least for the next 19 years, back in November of 2024. We have the sun. This is the Sephiroth of the sun. Of course, the sun is in Aries and Taurus this month. This is the Sephiroth of the moon. We have a full moon in Libra and a new moon in Taurus, both Venus ruled signs, incidentally. And this is the month that Venus stations direct. And then at the last day of the month moves into Aries. She's ready for battle at that point. But we'll talk about that when we get there. We have three cards pretty much that we're working with this month. 4 is the vibration of the month. We're in the 4th month. And 4 is the Emperor. It is an Aries vibration. And of course, we have a ton, I almost said something else, a ton of Aries. This month, we have the Sun in Aries. We have Mercury in Aries. We have Venus in Aries. So there's a lot of Aries. And of course, Neptune up there in Aries. So there's a lot of not just numerological stress on that Aries energy, but also actual, like with planets in Aries, kind of focus. Now, Aries is about the I am. It's your identity. It's who you are. It's your beingness. It's your reason for living, really, Aries in a way. And so we come in contact with that sense of, well, why am I here, right? Why? Like what am I to do? Because Aries is really all about doing, being and doing, really. Mars is its ruling planet after all. All right, so on the 3rd, we have a very interesting sextile between Saturn and Uranus. This is part of a 45-year synodic cycle that began in the late 80s. And it has come to a point, the waning sextile, where we are sharing our knowledge about how we can live a better future. It's very Aquarian in its nature. We also have a sextile between Mars and Uranus. Now, that is a 2-year cycle that has come to its waning sextile. And so that's another energy around moving in a more progressive, inclusive, egalitarian direction. Okay. On the 6th, we have the Sun sextile Jupiter. That's important. Actually, I sort of stopped at here, but I'm going to go back to these right now. We're in a 9-year, separating the wheat from the chaff. That sits here on the tree of life. This is the path of Virgo. So for those of you born in the 60s and have Pluto in Virgo, this is going to be a very active month for those people born in the 60s, late 50s, and very early 70s. But this path connects the Sephiroth of Jupiter with the Sephiroth of the Sun. And so the April 6th is important because it's activating this 9. So we may have an opportunity to let go of something. We may have an opportunity to heal something. We may have an opportunity to share our wisdom, which is more in line with the sextile, but any of those things are possible. We also have this 13-4 vibration. If we add the 4 and the 9 together, this is the death card. This sits here on the tree of life between the Sun, the Sephiroth of the Sun, and the Sephiroth of Venus. So Venus and the Sun are very interesting bedfellows here. Last month, Venus and the Sun came together while Venus was retrograde, starting a new Venus star point cycle. Venus will come up as the morning star now. It had been in the evening star. It has its retrograde period, and then it gets in front of the Sun. When Venus is in a morning star energy, she's much more aggressive, and she's moving from Pisces, where she's exalted, into Aries, where she will wield a lot of power, especially with Neptune in Aries. Okay, so we have the Sun sextile Jupiter, very important. Venus trine Mars. Venus and Mars are the two planets associated with how we relate to one another, and the trine is a flow, is a flow. April 7th, Mercury stations direct. Mercury started started the month retrograde in Pisces. Now it turns direct in Pisces on the same day that Venus, which is moving backwards retrograde, conjoins Saturn in Pisces. Okay, so we have the planet of the mind turning around and starting to move forward. And we have the planet associated with what we love making a conjunction to reality-based Saturn. So I think what we're going to see is we're going to see what is at stake. What is at stake? On the 8th, Venus sextiles Uranus. This sextile is also a waning sextile, also has that Aquarian rebellious energy. Maybe freeing ourselves from some relationships that no longer serve us. On the 12th, we have a full moon in Libra on the same day that Venus stations direct. The interesting thing about that is Venus is the ruling planet of Libra. The full moon does happen first. Full moons bring awareness. The awareness is in Libra, is in relationship. Okay. The sun in Aries, the moon in Libra. And this is the path that gets activated on the full moons and the new moons. And that is the path of temperance, which is the path of the mystic. So we have opportunities for some mystical connections. On the 16th, Mercury ingresses into Aries, going over that world point, that Aries point. Very, very powerful. And then the next day conjoins Neptune, which just moved into Aries and is sort of sitting on that point. On the 18th, Mars re-enters Leo. Mars has been in Cancer since January 6th. It went retrograde back into Cancer on January 6th, turned around at 17 degrees of Cancer on February 23rd, and has been moving forward through Cancer for a little bit of February, for all of March, and now for half of April, and then it re-enters the sign of Leo. This is significant for Volodymyr Zelensky because he has his Mars at 0 degrees, 0 something of Leo retrograde in his chart. So he's a leader that is very careful about the aggression, about it being aggressive. He really is a leader of his people. It's a beautiful thing. I think we could learn a lot from Volodymyr Zelensky. On the 19th, the sun ingresses into Taurus and Mars trines Neptune. This is nice energy. This is really nice energy. And then over the next couple of days, there's some more there's good energy and some challenges. Venus sextiles Uranus again. Venus is moving forward, so she re-meets up with Uranus and says, what do I further need to free myself from, right? But she's moving forward, right? And this is that uh, Aquarian energy sextile. So it's about, power to the people. We have Mercury make a sextile to Pluto. This is the deep mind, the deep probing mind. We have the Sun make a last quarter square to Mars. This is a rebellious square. It's around ego, but it's also, it's around authoritarianism, because the Sun, in its negative sense, I'm the king, I'm the life giver, it's all up to me. Actually, that's true of the Sun, but it's not necessarily true of people. So it makes a last quarter square to Mars. This can be very rebellious. We might see some rebellion here. On the 21st, we have Saturn conjunct the north node of the moon. Now, the north node of the moon is the direction of our destiny, and Saturn is reality. And so again, we're going to see what's at stake. What's at stake. On the 23rd, we have the Sun make a first quarter square to Pluto. If you notice that the Sun made a last quarter square to Mars on the 20th, and a first quarter square on the 23rd to Pluto, that means Mars and Pluto must be doing something together, right? Well, on the 26th, we have the last opposition between Mars and Pluto. There have been three. The first one happened November 3rd, 2 days before the election. The second one happened, I think, on the 1st or 2nd of January, as we began this year, 2025, and this will be the last one. I feel like this is something will come to light, something that began back in November, actually, or maybe even further back than that. I think we're going to get a clearer picture of what happened, and you can decide what that means for you. On April 27th, we have the new moon in Taurus. This is planting a seed for stability, planting a seed for abundance, planting a seed for what is essential in our lives. And then on the 30th of April, Venus ingresses into Aries, and she is ready for battle. She is ready for battle. Okay. So let's go to your specifically for Virgo. All right, so we can see that a lot of the energy of this month is on the top of the chart. That means the things that you're doing will be seen by others. You also have the majority of your energy within this quarter of the chart. This is the quarter of the chart where we're working with others. We're learning how to work with others. We're dealing with others, both in a sort of a personal way, a very personal way, and then a more collective way. So it is, and Virgo is the energy of, um, continuously applying yourself to make things better, right? So this is, so you're going to be working with other people to do that this month. The south node of the moon is in Virgo now. That happened in January. It moved into Virgo. So you guys are at the tail end, as it were, of the great dragon that swallows the sun, right? So there's a lot of things that need to be let go of in the Virgo energy. And for you, I would say Virgos, while incredibly talented and wonderful people, will often not feel that way, because in their search for perfection, they're always saying, well, I could have done it better. I think that's some of the stuff that you have to let go of, knowing that you did your best. Part of the lesson of Virgo, and I'll mention that Pluto and Virgos again, is to realize that nothing is perfect, not even God, and that we're all sort of evolving together. And so the need to be perfect needs to be let go of. It's good enough. It's good. You're ready. You're ready. It's good enough. North Node is in Pisces in the seventh house. Perhaps forgiving those who aren't perfect, or um, becoming aware of relationships where you're trying to fix somebody instead of love them. Okay. Those kind of things will come up for you. Now, of course, we have Saturn there in your house of relationships. So there is a certain amount of having to work hard for your relationships, but with an understanding of how to make those relationships last and be something worth working with and holding on to. We have Venus and Mercury. Remember, they're retrograde when they start the month. They will both turn direct and move into the Aries house for you. Of course, Mercury does it first. Venus doesn't really do it till the end of the month. But these are the two relationship houses, and we have Venus and Mercury in those houses this month. So this is really about working your relationships. Scorpio, the Scorpio house is also a relationship house. We have the sun start in the eighth house. This is a good time to make sure that all your taxes are taken care of, everything's dotted and T'd and crossed and all that stuff, because there is energy in that house, especially with all these retrograde planets. Although they're not quite retrograde in that house, they kind of move from retrograde into that house. So it's a little less of a like you'll make a mistake on your taxes kind of thing. The sun moves into Taurus, moves into the ninth house of truth and justice. Uranus is already there, blowing things up, right? And we have the new moon in Taurus in the ninth house. The ninth house is also higher education and metaphysical studies. So this might be a time when you want to start studying metaphysics, astrology, Kabbalah, numerology, whatever floats your boat, right? Whatever you're curious about and want to know more about. Jupiter is still in that 10th house. It will continue to move through that 10th house, more expansion of opportunities, especially verbal things or communication, because it's in Gemini. So there's more of that. And it is a Mercury ruled sign. I do want to mention that you are a Mercury ruled sign. And so perhaps you don't feel like you're quite on your game until Mercury goes direct, right? And let's see, when does that happen again? Mercury. On the 7th. On the 7th. So not too long into April, you'll start to feel like you got that your head's maybe a little bit clearer and a little bit straighter on your head. I mean on your shoulders. Sorry, your head's more straight on your head. Your head's a little straighter on your shoulders. Mars here in your 11th house, been there a long time. Part of that time it's been retrograde. Your 11th house is your house of friends. It's also your house of goals and technology. Could have been having some technology issues, Virgo, which of course you're very adept at fixing. So I'm not worried that you couldn't fix it. But it probably could have been frustrating. But now Mars is moving direct and then does move into Leo. Leo is your 12th house. Mars in the 12th house. Is a little bit dicey. The 12th house is the house of self-undoing. It's not there for long, because now as Mars is moving forward, it's going to move through that house. It's not going to be like was stuck in the 11th house for like a long time, right? Um, so just watch yourself. If you're angry, um don't hold it in, like don't necessarily like you don't want to do that necessarily, but you don't want to like just hold it in and hold it in and hold it in and hold it in, because this is when you like break your toe on a piece of furniture, because all that frustration just self undoes you. So be gentle with yourself. Be gentle, be gentle, be gentle with yourself. Okay. All right, so I think that's what I want to say about your astrology. Now let's get into the card reading. Okay, so I have the Hermetic deck here. I don't know if I've ever used it for Virgo. I do love this deck. I usually use it for the air signs because it's black and white, but you're Mercury ruled, so all right, let's see. I really do love this. Excuse me. What a crazy time we're living in, huh? All right. What does Virgo need to be aware of in April? Show me Virgo in April. Show me Virgo in April. All right, one more. All right. We start with the Nine of Cups. So you're in the cups. Actually, I think in certain places that means you're drunk. So perhaps you're not in the cups, but this is getting your wish. Something you've been wishing for has manifested. Let's see what challenges that. The Judgment card. Decisions. Decisions. You know, the Nine of Cups could be you being in your cups, honestly. And this says you need to decide if that's what you still want to do. Okay. There can be a certain amount of escapism that comes with the cups as they are lower in the tree. The nines are located in the purple circle there, so it's the lower part of the tree, and the tens are in Malkuth right there at the tip of my finger. That's the lower tree, and that always sort of brings in our lower nature that can sometimes get us into trouble. In the at the root of it is a leap of faith. So this says that you've decided to stop something that might be fogging things up for you. You've decided to take the leap. In the past, we have the Ace of Cups. I almost feel like this is an issue with addiction for you, or too much of something. Like addictions can be food, addictions can be addicted to drama. There's all kinds of addiction, although with all this cup energy, it could be actually drinking something. In the sky, we have the tower. Now, the sky is often, in the way I read the cards, is often the outside world. So this kind of looks apropos for that, right? There's Mars there, right? Mars now moving into Leo this month. So I think the truth is coming out. The truth is coming out. And perhaps it's not about drinking. The cups could also be about being in this sort of, I want to almost say diluted state of everything's going to be okay. You know, I'm not going to, like, not that everything isn't going to be okay, because everything's going to be as it needs to be. But there could be some escapism associated with where you find yourself. But now you're like looking around and saying, oh no, this isn't working. Something has to change. How it's seen from the outside. Oh no, this is the immediate future of valor. This is the Seven of Wands. This is showing courage. This is standing up for what you believe, right? Having the higher moral ground. Having the perspective that helps you to fight off all comers. How it's seen from the outside, that you're in your power, actually. That standing up is important. You've decided you're going to stand up for what's right. Domestic situation, ooh, the Ten of Pentacles. So that's good. It's a Virgo card, even. Um, that's resources. You'll have resources. Your financial situation is good. You have enough. This could also mean that you get some inheritance from family, and there is some eighth house stuff happening in your chart this month, so that's very possible. Some family money coming in. Hopes and fears, the Princess of Cups. You hoping for good news? Well, who wouldn't be hoping for good news if this is the card that's above it all? Outcome, the Two of Swords, peace. So there's a truce, perhaps, a little bit of a stalemate. You come to a balance point by the end of the month. The Nine of Swords is the Lord of Despair, right? This is nightmares and mental anguish. The Two of Wands, this is having dominion over your life, deciding what direction you want to go in, plans for the future, plans for the next adventure. And then the Lord of Oppression. So there's still some things, this is the 10 of Wands. There's still some things that um need to be handled, need to be taken care of, need to be worked. But by the end of the month there, you do get a bit of a rest. I think you do get a bit of a rest. Let's see what's underneath it. The Magician, you have the power of your intention. The Emperor, having dominion over your life. And the Seven of Swords. This is figuring out being, who's sneaking around, who's sneaking around. This is discernment. It's discernment. So underneath it all, you're in a good position. Um, but you do have things that you're working around or working towards or fighting for or fighting against. There's that energy in this too. So I feel like a decision has been made. You decided that now is the time to come out, to stand up for what you believe, to be courageous. Um, Virgo is an energy that's very careful in the way that it's not an energy that jumps into the fray. It has to analyze everything and see. I feel like the analysis is over in a big decision for you, and you can still use your great analytical powers once you have moved into the new situation. You'll still need those analytical powers to figure things out and to work with the energy. But you have decided that this is it. I'm doing it. I'm going for it. It's that important to me. So, wow, pretty cool. All right. So, one more reading, one more card pull, and that will be for the Animal Oracle. I just need to pick these up carefully so I don't shut myself off on the computer. Okay. All right. So let's check out the Animal Oracle. What animal has something to say to Virgo? What animal has something to say for Virgo? Virgo. I picked it up. I picked it out like a Virgo. Is this it? This right? This right? This right? This right? What do we got? Bug. Scarab beetle spirit. Magic works through you. Scarab beetle spirit. You got a bug. We have some of those big, like, I don't know if they're considered scarabs, but like the dung beetles in the yard. And you don't see them anymore. When we had dogs, you would always see them because, there was always a reason for them to be there. All right, scarab. Let's see. Where's the book? Oh, here it is. I'll hold the card up for you because it is a pretty, even though it's a bug, it's a pretty card. Okay. There's probably more entomologists who are Virgos. Um, that's the science of bugs. Perhaps that would be a good study. How many entomologists are Virgos? Magic works through you. In ancient Egypt, the scarab beetle was revered, but the creative magic of scarab beetle spirit reminds us that we can bring forth something extraordinary, seemingly out of thin air. Whenever you let your creativity flow through you, scarab beetle spirit reminds you that spirit has given you the gift of infinite potential. You have an ally as you fashion something new or repurpose the old. For spirit co-creates with you, channeling energy through you so that you feel replenished and vitalized as you make magic with what is at hand. That's so very Virgo, isn't it? Right? Like crafty, the Virgo who makes sculptures out of like car parts and stuff. Now is a time for great optimism, for you can accomplish anything you desire. and your creative endeavors will come to fruition. Miracles, opportunities, abundance, and love will appear seemingly out of nowhere as you allow spirit to work through you and magically manifest what you need. And Virgo, because you're always willing to do the work, you get the rewards of work well done. So, all right, Virgo, you take care of yourself. All right, don't work too hard. Have a wonderful month. I'll see you again next month. Now, for the memberships on my YouTube channel, there are 2 memberships. There's the Starlets, which is the lower tier, and then there's the Star Seekers, which is the higher tier. There'll be more videos coming out as I, put more stuff out for the membership. I will be having lives with the members, and the Star Seekers, which is the higher level, will get a little bit more nuts and bolts, astrology, numerology, Kabbalah, that kind of stuff. So that's the plan. But I'm learning as I'm going, and I appreciate your patience. And I'm look forward to getting to know you all a little bit better. Okay, take care, everyone, and I'll see you again next month. Namaste.